Okay, it's almost 8. So, hi everyone, good evening. Am I visible and audible?
Good evening, ma'am. Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Audible, ma'am.
Okay. So, can I have you all on cameras? Because I would be talking about three theories and I would be talking about the defense mechanism. I think I have given the PPT and Jhalak has almost uploaded the PPT in the drive. So, yes, any idea what is dream or not what is dream? What are the theories of dream which I'm going to cover today? Any idea? Anything? Okay, so first I will be talking about the cognitive theory of dreaming. So, did you all get a chance to see the neural process of our like neural imagining of our brain and dreams? The video which I have given in the previous class.
Ma'am, only one video I have seen.
Okay, which one did you see? The last one, the
The,
neural one?
the first one.
First one, what was that? Okay, I'll figure it out. Okay, not to worry. So, cognitive theory of dreaming was being given by behavioral psychologist Calvin Horn. I said it in the last class. So today I'm going to talk what was his exact motive of coming up with dream. So he said, we all dream, right? Starting from childhood, teenagers, adolescents, geriatric population, everyone do dream. Now he said dreams are the representation of all the five things which I'm going to talk. And he basically focused on only five concepts. So, and yes, why is the yes? So, first one is the conception of self. Now, how we appear to ourselves. It's not that how we are appearing to others. Basically, over here, self means what are our pros and cons within ourselves. Are there any negative things which is going on in ourselves, or are there any positive things which we goes in ourselves? So it's just the fact in which we represent our own very self to others, not to anyone else. It's only ourself which we are seeing in form of concepts. And what are the things we generally see over here? Climbing in ladders, getting pregnant. The moment we are getting any sort of accidents, it can be anything. We are murdering someone, we are raping someone. I had a client, he used to not he she used to see a dream that she is raping her own mother. uh, then we are smoking. We generally see in our dream that we are getting highly addicted to smoking. So that is the conception of self. Next is conception of others. Here what we see is that how people in our lives are, that is the relationship with everyone. It can be that, let's take the example of that I am stabbing my mother, right? Now, when I am only saying I, that means concept of self. But the moment I'm seeing I am stabbing my mother, that is concept of others. How I am viewing my mother. Now, because it can be of various reason, I don't have a good relationship with mother. I can't tolerate my mother. Blah blah blah. We generally see that we am sorry, not we, but I am having a, for example, I am having a bad fight with my friends. So that means concept of others, how I am seeing others in my dream, what is the general impact of others in my life. Next is concepts of world. Here it means the environment. I had a client, not had, it's a very recent client who came up to me, and that was being referred to by me by La Martian for girls. And her mother is a so called sustainable YouTuber, and she is highly popular in YouTube. She has uh, almost around 50.7K or 51.7K viewer or subscribers, blah, blah, blah. And the main mission, what she does in her YouTube is she takes on planting the trees. She takes on various mode of recycling certain things. It can be paper, it can be certain sort of kagaj ka turka, like that is a kagaj. Now this kagaj means what she does is she's tearing a page from a copy or from a book, and now she's creating something out of that. It can be newspaper. Now she said to her daughter that planting tree is good for your nature as well as for your health also. And she, what exactly she is doing, she's starting the inclination of green parenting. Now after 1 week, the daughter who came to me basically for issues with concentration, she said me every single day I am seeing that I am planting tree with my mother. I am helping my friends also to plant small saplings. So what exactly is happening? Her mother said that the moment you are planting tree, it's not only beneficial for your mental health but also for physical health. Now she is exactly seeing the same, that she is planting, she is helping others to plant trees. Not only trees, she said me of what is that called green light in my roof, and she said me that to watch this video, so how I can have a green light in my roof. I don't know how exactly it works, but it's that it's not consuming energy, electricity. It's just by the process of sun rays. So what exactly is happening? How that individual or how individual is viewing the environment. It can be anything, but it has to be related to the environment. Till 3 points, three conceptions clear: self, others, and world. Any doubt over here? Clear. Okay. Next is concept of morality. Now over here, it means concept of morality and concept of conflicts. Sorry, concept of morality and concept of penalties are same. I wrote only the name of morality, but there are certain therapists who says concept of penalties. Over here means there are certain uh, taboos or how I am viewing the man. For example, when I'm going to talk about defense mechanism, you can know that there are certain sort of defense mechanism which is known as fallacy of fairness, which means I should, or not I basically, which means the environment, or which means the individual, every single individual should have a strict rules on life and relationship. Now over here something similar is there. That means how the moral judgments are over in my life. For example, it can be spiritual, it can be religious, it can be emotional. But over here we also take taboos also. Taboos regarding sex, taboos regarding the queer community, taboos regarding menstrual cycle. Now with this, how an individual can see dreams. uh, I am not having my period since last 6 months. I don't have PCOD issue. I don't have PCOS issue. All my hormones are working perfectly, but still I'm seeing that my periods is not happening for the last 3 months or last 4 months, any duration. That means there is a taboo. I now want to throw certain lines on that taboo so that I can have a perfect periodic cycle. Sex also. I am seeing that um, I am doing some intimate things with my husband. It can be there are certain client who comes up to us, but there can be certain sexual issue. I'm not talking about that, but there are certain people who can come up to you all and say, "Ma'am, every single day I'm seeing that I am having certain, being a girl, I'm having a relationship with a girl." So that means, though we can understand the gender is of lesbian, but it's also a taboo. Lesbian, right now we are staying in this modern, high modern society, but still lesbian, bisexual, gay, all sort of queer community, in fact trans, hijras community, kinna community are still the stigma or the taboo. We are not supposed to talk to them. So this type of dream can come up. I remember I was watching a, I for the last, I was in class 12 when I was seeing a dream. I talked with my mother. Every single day I'm seeing that I am doing party, not a this type party, but a house party with kinners. My mother said that time, because I did not know what is queer affirmative, what is queer friendly, because there is a difference between queer affirmative and queer friendly. So my mother said, you are welcoming the queer in your life. That means you are more welcome to embrace all sort of section people. This is what concept of morality means. Now, concept of conflict, which means a struggle with your inner life. I can say you certain dreams which comes up with this concept of conflict. I'm not being able to pass certain exams. Though I passed. In real life, I had completely passed off that exam. But in my dream, I'm saying I'd not been able to pass off. It had happened when I took the admission in PhD 3 years back. Before 3 years, every single second, I was seeing that I am not being able to clear the entrance exam. And whatever the exams are, I am getting so nervous that I'm failing in the exam. When I completed my net also, I saw this exact same situation in my dream. That was what? Conflict with inner self. And that's the very time when we have to start with CBT. When there is a conflict with moral, that is penalty and conflicts, we have to start using CBT. There can be certain sort of difference which are pondering or which are like mundering over here, like it's going to and fro, to and fro. Especially concept of morality, it can happen with defense mechanism who uses personalization, tagging oneself or tagging themselves. I am not worth of doing this. I am such a big loser. I am such a big failure. I can't pass. So that is what concept of conflict within inner self. This is what the theory which was being given by Calvin Hall, that is cognitive theory of dreaming. Clear with cognitive theory of dreaming? Any questions? Okay. Next is neurocognitive theory. Now, neurocognitive theory is somewhat similar to the picture which I've given you, not the picture, the link which I've given you. This theory was being given by William Domhoff, and he was a student of Calvin Horn. Calvin Horn was the founder of cognitive theory. Neurocognitive came up with William Horn, and he was a student of Calvin Horn. Now, in the question, like I remember, in MPhil question, there was certain, like in the last year, no, not last year, in the year 2016 or 17, a question came up. Who was Calvin Horn? Was the founder of neurocognitive or cognitive theory? Most of the therapists wrote he was the founder of neurocognitive theory. And that's the time when I saw so many clinical psychologists, they even don't know that. They thought Calvin Horn is only the founder of neurocognitive, but no. Calvin Horn is the founder of cognitive theory, whereas William Domf is the founder of neurocognitive theory, but he was a student of Calvin Horn. So please don't get confused. Now, this theory says that there are only three important factors when dreaming comes into consideration. First factor is the neural substrate, the one which the picture which I gave of neural imagining. Machines, all sort of machines are being put over here. If I can share the picture, I am going to do it. Just give me a second. Okay, before sharing the picture, let me complete both the dreaming part, then I'm going to talk. Next is dream means children. Now, the moment a childhood is being completed, the child is being moving from child to an early childhood. That's the time most sort of complex and frequent sort of dreamings happens. In fact, daydreamings also happen. When a child is in the childhood phase, they don't merely go for the phase of daydreaming. But the moment they are going from childhood to early childhood or late childhood, that the moment they start daydreaming, and it's more complex and more frequent. Abhi kuch to abhi kuch, and they itself get confused. And if you are working with special babies, especially learning disorder and ADHD, they do have the issue. Next is dream in adult. Over here means our dreams get influenced by our culture. and by the differences in our ages. Now, adult can also be the year of 30, adult can be 40, adult can be 50, 60, 70, blah, blah, blah. Right. So, what dream I am seeing can't be the fact that Rashi ma'am is also getting that dream exactly, or Dr. KP is getting that dream exactly, because there is a difference between our age. But it can be somewhere, I am in 30, people of 28, 29 are getting somewhat similar sort of differences, or not differences, somewhere similar sort of dream which I'm getting. Highly success, but not as much they are getting. Because somewhere our culture do comes into consideration. Now, if I want to become bartender, which is not accepted in my culture, but still I'm getting a dream. It can be, and it was like that. People who don't want to get, like, there are certain people or there are certain individual who wants to get into some what is that called, lamplight profession. They are exactly getting that dream every night, but due to certain cultural differences and similarities also, they are not being able to go. For example, getting into modeling, there is a similarity that I have won 3 beauty pageant, I can go. But the difference would be, again, my mom and dad won't allow me. Or my extended family won't allow me. That ye tumhare bas ke baat nahi hai. It can be anything, due to my height, due to my health, not health, weight, blah, blah, blah. But if I'm getting beauty pageant dream that I'm winning, it can be. But because there is a similarity, the duration is less. Whereas if I want to participate in sort of any sort of modeling, the Miss Universe or Miss India, the durations are for 6 months. Whereas beauty pageant duration are for 3 months. 3 months, 2 months for grooming, 1 month for coming in the limelight. This is what neurocognitive function of dreaming is. Clear with this? Let me show you neuroimagining. Let me know once this is visible. Neuroimagining. Yeah. अरे यार कोথায় গেল? Okay. Neuroimagining. Now, this sort of neuroimagining can be done by only a professional physician or a psychiatrist, not by us. Even if we are a clinical psychologist, we can't do. So, I am stopping this screen so that you can see. Let me know once this screen is visible. No, I don't want to answer any questions. Skip ad. Okay. Is this screen visible? Not visible.
No, ma'am.
Okay. Abhi, is it visible? Is it visible, Abhi?
Yes. Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
do let me know what you are seeing, because I can't see anything. So, yes.
Welcome to 2 Minute Neuroscience, where I simplistically explain neuroscience topics in 2 minutes or less. In this
Audio
installment, I
visible?
will discuss neuroimaging. I will cover a few of the most common types of neuroimaging,
Yes,
CAT
ma'am.
scans,
Okay.
MRI, PET scans, and fMRI. Some neuroimaging techniques allow us to see the structure of the brain, while others allow us to look at brain activity or function. Computerized tomography, also known as computerized axial tomography, is a type of structural neuroimaging. It is usually called a CAT or CT scan. It involves taking a series of X-ray images from various locations around the head. These images can then be combined to construct an image of the brain. The resolution of CT images is not that high, but they can visualize any major structural problems with the brain, like a tumor. Magnetic resonance imaging, or MRI, involves applying a combination of magnetic fields and radiofrequency energy waves to the brain. Hydrogen atoms respond to the magnetic fields and radiofrequency pulses by emitting energy. The MRI machine receives this energy and can tell what part of the brain it came from. A computer can use that information to reconstruct an image of the brain that has high spatial resolution. Positron emission tomography, or PET scanning, is a way of imaging brain function. To do a PET scan, a patient is injected with a radioactive substance that emits positrons, which then emit gamma rays when they collide with electrons in brain tissue. These gamma rays are detected by the PET scanner. Because the radioactive substance was injected into the bloodstream, what the PET scanner is detecting is the movement of blood throughout the brain. Blood flow to an area of the brain increases when that area is active, So PET scanning creates an image that highlights the areas of the brain that are being used most while the person is in the scanner. Functional MRI or fMRI uses a similar approach to MRI but focuses on the different responses oxygenated and unoxygenated blood make to magnetic fields and radiofrequency energy. fMRI uses what is called blood oxygen level dependent contrast, or BOLD, to identify changes in blood flow in the brain, and thus to identify areas of the brain that are most active. fMRI allows one to image brain function without having to inject anything, and it provides high-resolution MRI images at the same time as it provides a functional image.
Okay. So this is what neuroimagining means. It's pretty difficult. We as a psychologist or even a clinical therapist who have undergone MPhil or even who is pursuing PhD and is a doctorate also, they can't. It has to be done by a MBBS doctor or someone who is in this field. Now in India, if you talk, no one is there. As no such specialists are there for doing like neuroimagining any sort. But definitely, what they do is they call up certain doctors from Apollo. They are because they have certain sort of machines and which requires a number of machines. Like over here, they have to give over shoulder, blah, blah in the inside, like behind our head, over the head, sides of the head, covering our ears, and then this has been taken into front. So it's pretty difficult, but please don't advise anyone to go through this process because I know two only who have undergone through this process, and she said me it's pretty difficult because our head after the like test has been completed, after 3 or 4 hours, I exactly don't remember, she said me that it's pretty painful, like head started spinning, like ting ting ting, tinglination of pains happen, like it's not a very huge pain, but it would pain in a very slow pace your not your life, but definitely for the next 72 hours you are like completely bedridden, like you can't get off because you are pretty drowsy. And after this the doctor advised sleeping pills because of that headaches, because of that pain in muscles and everywhere in the body. So in India we generally don't do it. Yes, this is I would play this video. Yes, Vasudha ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. What were you referring to? Or the last this you're talking?
I did not understand.
No, no. What were you? What were you referring to last? The last that thing that you were saying regarding one of your friends who had undergone this, and
Yes,
what is it? You're
not
talking
my
about
friend, like
radio
he was
imaging, is it?
no, no, he was not my friend. He was just a common friend of friends. I, in fact, don't have a clear communication with him. He was advised because for the last 6 years, he was seeing some dreams which were only black in color and the music was ta na na. I remember he said only the music is ta na na, but he was not being able to advise like know what exactly. So his psychiatrist said go through this process, and he went to Apollo Delhi or Chennai, I exactly again don't remember the state. He said us in the group that the pain is pretty like after the test has been done, and it was for more than 2 hours one test has been conducted, and if I'm not wrong it was the pet only. The psychiatrist, even I can still get in touch with him and I can ask about his opinion. For the next few
No, no.
days,
What was the test?
a
What
pet,
was the test?
it was pet, like it was
PET
something
scan. A PET
yes, yes,
scan.
yes, yes,
Is it a PET scan you're talking about?
yes, something I exactly don't know about neuroimagining tests, but
No,
he
because
said hmm,
no, no.
hmm,
I come back on this because neuroimaging is one thing which has been done routinely,
okay,
especially in the detection of cancer, like a
hmm,
physical this. Okay, so the PET scan that is there is more for a it's a imaging that is majorly done for cancers.
okay,
Okay, yeah.
okay,
So it is not that it is not done. Maybe the purpose for what it is done, maybe if dream analysis in that case, probably it is not the one that is used unless there's some physical, when they're suspecting something physical.
Hmm.
some physical abnormality in the brain. And imaging techniques are pretty MRIs and all are done on a pretty large scale.
Okay, okay. No, he said me
Yeah.
like he went through the process of liposuction also, and with that like treatment, then he said me that it is almost 1 week I went through that test, and it's pretty like it's painful. It's paining in my head. My head is completely hard. I'm not being able to get off from my bed. I remember because it was in the not recently. It was in the last year. Last year, Jan in the month of Jan or Feb, because that time I was doing. I said him to go to a dream therapist who exactly know what is the reason behind that, because I don't know his original story. What was behind that story? Because only black color means, definitely it means that I don't want to come up to anyone. That means I am pretty much suppressive about my emotions. I don't want people to know. But what that music resonance, because yes, definitely there are certain musics also which has effect on your dream. Now I exactly don't know what happened, but after that only he said me that I went through this, and I am in this painful state. My doctor said me, but he is not from Kolkata, I can tell you, because in Kolkata there are no certain therapists, not therapists, no one. I heard from the last very few years that people are doing this sort of neuroimagining test only for dreams. Definitely for cancer, I am not aware of what are the tests that has to be done apart from chemotherapy, but I am still not sure that what exactly it happened also. So yes, ma'am.
No, no, these are investigative techniques, ma'am. Na?
Okay.
Uh, they are investigative. So it is not as a part of medication, it is a part of detection. So they are investigative in nature, whether it's an MRI, whether it's a PET scan.
Hmm.
They are all investigative. But like I said, whether it cannot be used for a dream analysis as such. It is mainly used for what you say is any physical deformity or any physical aspect of the brain or any part of the body for that matter. It
Okay.
can be
Okay.
done all throughout the body. Yeah. Okay. The
Okay.
brain is
Yes,
also
I was.
PET scan
uh,
of the brain is always there, but it is to detect some physical this. Mostly, if you want, the sleep patterns that are done are mainly by EEG,
uh,
electroencephalogram. It's by EEG patterns, but they check the EEG. But these are investigative techniques for
hmm.
not for the dream part of it, actually. That is why I said. I
Okay.
heard
Okay.
you say something about this. That is why I said it come. I asked you to come back on it. That's why.
Okay, not an issue, because
Anyway,
I
no, no,
honestly I don't have any idea, so it would be like pretty bad to give some bad informations. So thank you
no,
for
no,
your
that is fine.
clarification, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm
Okay.
a dentist basically by
Uh-huh.
profession.
Yes, yes,
Yeah,
yes.
and I'm like, oh, so
Uh,
I mean, these are
I
techniques which
understand.
we
You know,
normally,
yes.
yeah, yeah. That's why I didn't want. I mean, I didn't want to get something wrong on this. So
Mhm.
anyway, yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Okay, thank you so much, ma'am. Yes. Next is the activation synthesis theory. Now, this is one of the very um, controversial theory, which I would say. Like there are so many controversies regarding this theory, and it has been given. This theory was being criticized by most of the behavioral therapists, like behavioral psychologists, American behavioral psychologists, and American educational psychologists too. Now this is basically a neurobiological theory, and it was being given yes now Harvard psychologist, I don't know whether I have given a note. No, it has not been written, but you all can write it in your note. This has been given by Harvard psychiatrist Hobson and McLear. Now they propose that dream is pretty hypothesis, as dream is nothing. Like they said, dream बोल के कुछ भी नहीं होता. It's just a black and white. Now black and white is again a sort of defense mechanism. So they said dream बोल के कुछ नहीं होता, but again they came to a similarity with Freud that yes, definitely there are certain symbols which can come up every two and four that has meaning, but dream in general don't have any sort of meaning. The very first thing which is said about that dream can come up with this cerebral cortex which is in our brain, and that is the result for our own dream, and neural activities are only responsible for that. Now again he came up with two names, that is activation and synthesize. Activation means over here the REM sleep is taken into consideration with our cerebral cortex. Now in REM sleep most of us starts dreaming. Most, not most of us, every individual dreams in the only in the REM sleep, not in the non-REM sleep. But he said that only in REM sleep our cerebral cortex is responsible for black and white dreaming, and no other brain parts are responsible. Again, in synthesize, he said that only the memories which are pretty traumatic, the trauma memory or the memory which we don't want people to know about us, or the suppressed feelings of us, comes in form of comes in form of dreaming. Now there are controversies with this dream. Why? Because it's not that we always get bad dreams. We get good dreams, getting pregnant, getting married, getting anything, like getting achievement, passing off an exam, passing off athletics. If you work with any sports like any sports individual or sports psychologist, you can see that sports people, they say that before the match I am saying that I am creating 100 runs or I am creating 50 runs. So that is the good thing. But if I have to talk in terms of synthesize, which he said only the bad memories or the traumatic memories comes in up, and that's the reason of dreaming. Only black and white. Please keep in mind, only black and white occurs in our mind and not in any other parts. Okay, clear till here? Because now I'm going to, yes, I covered it because I gave a very covered everything. You can read it, but I don't know whether I can get a, like, there was a PPT. Yes, I need time. Honestly, I won't say that by today or by tomorrow I would be giving that PPT, but definitely before the course ends, I'm going to give you a PPT. That is not a PPT, but that is a dissertation which one of a student who did it on Dream, like he was my student, I need to take it from him. So I would ask you to read this because his main focus was on AS theory only. He was pretty much fascinated because of why such black and whites only, because most of us can also dream about colors. We are seeing colors in our dream. So colors do have certain importance in our life. Even if I take about branding also do have importance in our life. There is a thing like Amazon. Amazon, what is the logo? Amazon ka logo A to Z, right? Now, if you are aware of consumer or if you are aware of marketing psychology, A to Z, all big brands have psychologists with them, and especially not psychologists like us who are focused into this, but they are focused mainly into branding. They are focused mainly into creating logos, creating colors, because yes, colors do have importance everywhere. Every single second, colors do have importance. So A to Z, which means everything starting from A, ending to Z, are available in Amazon, but not in Flipkart. You can definitely research it, because I have, after I read about Amazon and Flipkart, I was having a word with a marketing psychologist. I knew that yes, it's true. जो Amazon पे बिकता है वो Flipkart सब नहीं है. You can definitely, because there are certain perfumes, there are certain sanitary napkins, company napkins, which are available only in Amazon but not listed in Flipkart. That is the reason. And due to this, activation synthesize theory is one of the most controversial theory in dream, definitely. Yes. So now I am going to talk about what is that defense mechanism. Till now, any doubt on any theory? So that I can move. I would request it, because this is a pretty long video of TED Talks. Please see this video. It's so important that you can get almost everything. about neurology of dreams. It's pretty clear video which he explained, and there are certain stats which is supporting his data. Now the stats are from abroad; it's not from India. The stats are collected from Western countries, so this is not valid in India. Honestly, I would say, but you can at least get an idea about the neurologies, how our cerebral cortex is linked to dreaming, and this is almost like AS theory. Okay. Any doubt in any of the theories, or should I go to defense mechanism? Okay. Okay. Now in the defense mechanism, Naomi would be explaining all the defenses. Yes, I'm not going to take the I'm not going to explain. Naomi is going to explain. Okay, Anna. No, no, don't worry. I'm only
I'm
going
flooding
only flooding.
in my head.
I know. Okay, don't worry. I'm only going to explain, not an issue. Let me get there. Okay, the PPT has been uploaded for Dream or for defense mechanism also. And yes, there are more than 150 defense mechanism, 150 plus. But honestly, in one class or even in two classes, defense mechanism can't be completed. But definitely, this is part one, which I'm going to talk almost 12 to 15 or 15 to 20, like 20 defense mechanisms are here. In the next class, again, I'm going to talk about symbols, definitely because symbols are an important part of dream. Why do we get dreams? So let me know if the skin is again visible or not. Kaha gaya? Is it visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, what are cognitive distortions? Now, pretty easy. Cognitive distortions are the way in which we think. But they can be mature thought process, they can be negative thought process. Now, negative means immature thought process. They can be somewhat dominating thought process, or they can be somewhat bechari type thought process. Like, people don't love me. I am good off doing nothing. I can't get pregnant. Now, again, why defense mechanism comes? Number one, to satisfy our ego, nothing else. Ego comes up only that, sorry, cognitive distortions comes up only for the issue of satisfying our ego level. Now, there are two names of cognitive distortion. Number one is cognitive distortion. Second is defense mechanisms. Now, I won't be coming into this example. Now, yes, in the year 1976, basically Aaron Beck came up with defense mechanism. First founder of defense mechanism was Aaron Beck. But in the year 1980, only and only David Byrne took off the light, and he was the main public behind defense mechanism. But original name is Aaron Beck, because defense mechanism is mostly used by people who needs CBT. CBT was being created by Aaron Beck. Aaron Beck was the main mudda, like main matha of cognitive distortion. But hota hai na ki we are founding something, or it can be anyone is doing something, but someone is snatching from him or her. And then he becomes very popular about that particular thing. This is similar. Aaron Beck came up in the year 75 and 76, between this year, but David Byrne took it off in the year 1980 or 1982, within this 2 years, either 80 or 82. But in NET, you can't find about the exact year, because years are pretty much confusing too. And hence I wrote only one, that is 76 and 80 only. But you can see people writing 74, 76, 78. There are various people who are writing about various years. But the main is either 76 or 75 or 78 to 80. It is clear. I don't exactly know about the year, but it's somewhere between this. Now, triggers can be various things in our life. It can be any childhood trauma. It can be our own life experiences. It can be someone is imposing in our life, that is parenting. It can be our environmental issues. It can be anything. Like it can be also divorce. In divorce also people come up with black and white thinking, overgeneralizations also. So anything and everything, there is no particular reason that this is only the cause of trigger for defense mechanism. But again, there are, so please don't go by this picture. There are not 12. There are honestly not 12 sort of defense mechanism. There are more than 150. If you need a book, I would be giving you a book. But honestly, the more you practice with defense mechanism, or the more you do the sort of rehearsal, you can remember. Now, about here, 17 are there in part 1. In part 2, more than 20 are there. Part 2 में बहुत सारे हैं. Number 1 is filtering. Now, in the Naomi's class or in the CBT class, what I did was I first started with giving the definition. But many of them said, ma'am, please don't go by the definition because we don't understand honestly by definition. The more you give example, we can resonate. So it's pretty clear that I'm going to give example because definition say you can confuse. Even I confuse a lot. I won't lie. In filtering, what happened? You are either very perfect with one sort or you are not perfect with one sort. For example, people who uses a sort of filtering, they mostly focus on the negative aspect of their life. Now, taking a very personal aspect, my aspect, that is a form of divorce. If I was on the form of filtering, I would have eradicated all the positive things about my life, like love story, about the way I got married, because that was the positive. I would be only focusing on the negative thing. Why my divorce happened? Why I am? Do you know that I am a divorced lady? This is what filtering. That means I am filtering out all the positive or all the plus things of my life or of a particular situation. Now, this is a sort of immature defense mechanism. Next is black and white. This is also called black and white or polarized thinking. Thinking in extremes. It's a binary way of thinking your absolute life. Now, for example, it can come up like um, either I can have, for example, not, it's a case. This student, he said me, either I have out of 20 or out of 50, I don't remember, I have to receive 50 or 50 or 0 out of 50. That is both the extreme. Nothing can come. It can't be like 20 out of 50 or 15 out of 50. It can be any number. But he said me, I have to receive either 50 of 50 or 0 of 50. That means I am focusing on two extremes. That is the two polarity. Now, again, this is a sort of immature defense. You can see this sort of defense mechanism. Only one personality disorder uses. What is that, Naomi? I said it in the class.
Sorry, ma'am.
What is the personality disorders who uses body like black and white thinking? Confused.
Narcissist?
Narcissist, no. I said the example. I said the name in the class. I gave the example of two extremes and I explained this is the one and this is the one. What was that? In personality disorder, what is the two extreme? Leave personality disorder. Is there any other disorder which is there on two extremes? Somewhere crying for 5 minutes and after laughing for 10 minutes?
Bipolar disorder.
Yes. Are Naomi, where were you? You were there in the class. It's the bipolar sort of personality for people who tends to uses more black and white. That is, there is nothing in between. They are either focused on extreme or on the lower level of their life. Next is overgeneralization. Now, overgeneralization is pretty clear. Again, this is a sort of, immature events. Now, in overgeneralization, what happens? And this can only be used by a housewife, but I don't support this theory that this is only. Now, Over here, you are taking a responsibility in making the universe a picture perfect. For example, you are taking a single work and making them a universal. Now, taking my case or anyone, the one who have gone through the process of divorce or to the process of breakup, they majorly use, and majorly the housewife use. Why? Mm, Now I had gone through a process of divorce. Now every time when I meet any boy, or anytime whenever my mom and dad or any extended family is bringing any sort of rishta for me, I am like, मेरे साथ ही होगा ही होगा. Boys are pretty bad. This is a universal thing. I am not only pointing out to the whole fraternity of boys, but I'm focusing on the universe only. That no, the boys in the universe are pretty bad. And again, I don't know whether this is a valid theory or not, especially the girls who have a sort of bechari feelings. I want to be the bechari in my house, and hence I would be using this feeling. Again, overgeneralization is a immature, and somewhere down it can be a narcissistic defense mechanism also. I think someone joined new. Shripadna, she was there in the class. Shripadna, are you there in the class? Okay, I think. Okay, next is jumping to conclusion. As the name suggests, you are making an interpretation out of nothing. Now, for example, I know I had a student, not a student, he was a teacher, and he said me, I know none of the students like, because the way I dresses up in the class, and he was like a old uncle types. He used to wear that buckle system, the one which not even my grandfather wore, because a button, a butt, like a pant, a shirt, and the belts from here, both the sides.
Mr. Bean type.
Yes, Mr. Win type. And he used to say, and he was pretty good looking, honestly. And most of the girls from our class used to have a crush on him. But he was not a biology teacher, he was a chemistry teacher. And I remember once in our chemistry lab, he said us, I know none of the girls and none of the school staff members do like me because the way I dress up. I was like, okay. So this is a sort of jumping to conclusion, but he did not had any evidence. Jumping to conclusion and mind reading are more or less similar. I would explain how can it be different. But both of them don't have any sort of evidence, because he did not gather any data that whether I like him or not. But I remember in class 12, I said to most of my class teachers, not class teacher, most of my subject teacher, that ma'am, please close our chemistry teacher from resigning, because he was resigning, because he was getting married. And I remember I was getting jealous because he was my first crush in this entire school. And all our, and I remember history, geography, biology, other subject teachers used to criticize me because I was more or less chipku with him. But I was not his best student, honestly. So this is what a jumping to conclusion means, where you are directly jumping to a conclusion that, but without having any pakta event, or sorry, evidence. I don't know whether she is in there in the class or not. Now I would, okay, but it's not from CBT class, not an issue. Next is catastrophizing. Now this is being with two things. Catastrophizing can come up as magnifying or minimization. Now magnifying means, firstly, catastrophizing. What exactly is catastrophizing? You are expecting the worst outcome to happen in your life. Worst outcome, it can be a positive. Now my mother is a sort of catastrophizing. Whatever. Now I remember in the month of May 21st, 20th May, we are having a great event in Kolkata, and the most 80% things are on my shoulder. I said my mother that I don't know how the first event is going to go, because over here the CM of my West Bengal, she would be present, and other ministers would be there, home minister would be there. I was I am pretty nervous. So my mother said, what if you are feeling in that event and you are not being able to talk? I said, Are Bapre. Now what she is doing, she's coming out with a sort of um, solution, but a negative solution. That is, expecting outcome is zero for her. Not only for me, she is exactly like that. Now, this can be of two types, magnifying and minimization. Magnifying means you are using a sort of magnifying glass to elaborate a situation. For example, mm, I am, it can be with this example, my mom or I have a daughter, for example, and my daughter scored 80%. Okay, chalo, let's take an example with Sunny's father. Like Sunny was my school friend, and he was pretty bad in Hindi. So during our ISC or ICSC, I exactly don't remember whether it's class 10 or 12. I asked uncle that, uncle, how did Sunny score? Uncle was like, do you know how much percentage this Sunny received? I said, no, but the schools was different. I said, no. He said, uncle said, not he said, uncle said, he received 98% in Hindi. I was like, oh, wow. I was literally happy. Now, when we were talking in within our friends, because that time no WhatsApp, no Facebook, nothing. Then most of the friends said, Shraddhanjali, you have the ID card because we have each one of us ID number. So the moment we open up ISC or ICSC website, if we are giving the ID number, we can get what are the percentage, what are the numbers, what is the remarks we received. I said, no, I don't, I have. Then one of my friend Devine said, Shraddhanjali, maar ke dekho. I took my father's phone. I did it. It was not 98. It was not even the ulta 89. It was 45. And what did he do? He just created a big thing out of the number. That is what magnifying is. And minimization is, if he would have received 98, his father if he would have used the minimization as a sort of defense mechanism, he would have said that, no, my son received only 56. That is reducing the number, reducing the sort of like numbers in terms of everything. Now again, this is somewhere it can be a sort of mature, somewhere it can be a sort of immature. Now, why mature? There has not been a theory, but a short Saidama website which wrote that why minimization is done, because there are certain people who are jealous of us that we are getting so much of numbers that hence which they are not getting. So minimization for them is a sort of mature defense mechanism, whereas magnifying is a sort of narcissistic or superior sort of defense mechanism. But I exactly don't know what is the exact cause. Next is personalization. Now, personalization is where you are labeling your own self. During my childhood, not even in my childhood, even when I was teenage or in my adolescence, I used to use this. If I used to see my mother, she was too sad. I used to think that I did something and hence my mother is sad only for my behavior. Though the cause is nothing. She can be sad for her own professional life, or there is a personal life of her also, her friend's life, her blah blah blah, so many life. So personalization means where I am or where an individual is taking everything into his or her shoulder. That means I am blaming for that individual bad mood or bad attitude. Now this has again been used, this has been seen in certain YouTube video, you can see. They say personalization is a way beyond the civilization which occurred back. Now, Harappian civilization, I was forgetting the name. Harappian civilization their ladies used to use or their queens used to use this sort of defense mechanism just to get the love of their soul partners. Now, if I think that I did something, my husband is too sad and I did something, that means I'm doing Babu Shona just to get the attraction or just to get the reciprocation of the attitude that no, nothing has happened. But this is again a sort of immature defense mechanism. You can see children are using this. Mama, you are sad now just because of me. I received too low in exam. I fought with my friends. So again, very immature mechanism, defense mechanism. Now, all this defense mechanism can be addressed by CBT, can be addressed by REBT, and little by SFBT, but not all by SFBT or not all by REBT. Okay, till 6, any doubt in any of the defense mechanism? Okay. Next, I don't know. Okay, control fallacy. Okay, now this is one sort of thing where you feel that you are responsible for everyone's feeling. Now, this is somewhere similar to personalization. This means now in personalization, the only difference is you receive little proof. That, for example, in personalization, what happens if I think in this way, when I used to tell, I did something for which my mother is sad, there can be a body gesture of my mother, but not completely. It can be a something in a slower motion. And hence, I would believe that yes, something I did. But in control fallacy, no certain evidence can be there. No certain evidence. It means that the example, I don't know what example I wrote. Okay, why aren't you happy? Is it because of something? Yes, I explained because I was getting confused. Both are same, but in control fallacy, no certain evidences are there. Now, when you are working with people, the moment you are working with CBT, because defense mechanism has to be addressed by the version of CBT, I explained in defense mechanism, CBT class, there is a technique where you have to ask for proof, valid proof. Now, proof doesn't mean that, yeah, she said. No. Give me a proof. Now, again, proof doesn't mean that you have to call that sort of other individual to your therapy. No, but it has to be a certain sort of valid proof so that I, as a therapist, or any one of you as a therapist, believe that yes, it's happened, but not in form of manipulation, because client would be manipulating definitely. Now there is now control fallacy is only being, you can see people are using control fallacy in what is that called, corporate setups. If someone is being piled up with work and that person say, I know my boss gave me this work and hence I'm not happy, or if I have delivered my work and still my boss is not happy, or it can be that no one is happy, I would take the blame on myself that yes, only 1.5 work is left, but still none of us is happy. And you can take in consideration of yourself. That means you are being the fate of victim. Over here, everything is of victimizations. Next is fallacy of fairness. In fallacy of fairness, you have a tent, very strongest belief that the life, not that the life, that your life, everyone's life, relationship should have a what is that called, rule. Now you can see this was, I was telling, fallacy of control, fallacy of fairness. The one who have gone through the process of divorce, the one who have gone through the process of breakup. No, do you know there should be a rule? Now I had a client, but this was being referred by the Barakpur court. This was a divorce case. Now the husband said me, do you know, today after 2 hours I'm going to get divorced? Definitely, but there should be a strict rule that whenever you are falling in love, you are not supposed to go out until you are dying. I said, huh? There can be certain rules imposed on us? He said, yes, there has to be certain rules, because then there are no certain cases which are penned up. Because yes, in cases like courts, cases are piled up. I have seen, no other courts are opening. That what court is that? Benchil court. They open once a year. And in once a year, if they are working even for 12 hours or 24 hours, they can complete all the cases. Now, he was of a sort of fallacy of fairness. He said there should be certain rules imposed on the moment anyone is falling in love. That means he was against certain strong rules. Again, this was again a fact. He said, I said, what rule do you think? What should be imposed by the government? He said, not only by all the government, but most of the government. And he gave me an example of some city, I don't know, it's within India or outside India. He said there is a rule where the moment you are falling in love, within 3 months or within 3 weeks, I in fact forgot that, you are supposed to get married. And after the moment you are getting married, you can't come out for the next 30 years. Now, I don't know which city was that even. So I was pretty confused that whether there are certain rules or not. But for them, for the one who uses fallacy or fairness, they think that there should be a particular law on life as well as on relationship. And mostly you can see the one who are going to the phase of trauma, divorce, relationship breakup, anything, they uses this sort of things. Next is should. Now there are two things, should and must. Again, these are the sort of people who are pretty rigid. Now, should and must, they also have certain rules, but not for others, only for them. Now, should means I should get up at 5 a.m. in the morning and I should start doing yoga. Now, there are no certain rules that you should get up. But again, they are imposing rule on themselves. It's not for fancy or fairness. They feel that rules should be imposed on others. But for should and must, they feel rules are to be meant for them, not for others. Others jai bahar mein. I am to be a perfect man. And must is also a sort of person which thinks that there must be certain rules for my family, and should is for oneself, must is for family, not for extended family. Now again, these are the two sort of immature difference, because the moment they are using should and must, they are hurting themselves, and the more they are hurting themselves, the more they tends to get to the closure to depression. Because it can be I should do this, but it is not that my father must do that. No guarantee for my father. Now again, not only depression, anxiety level can be pretty high, blood pressure for them can be pretty high, stress also can be pretty high. And for should, if you go through if I can get the link, I could be standing. There are more than 200 rules which they feel that should be within imposed within themselves. It's pretty unfortunate on their part. Now, this sort of people you can definitely see in CIP Rachi. I have seen many people who are using this. Now, again, should and must you can see with rehab people, the one who are admitted in rehabs. Now, they feel. Next is emotional reasoning, where they are giving a reason for their own emotions, and it has to be a very sort of emotional. I do you know I'm feeling very guilty because I spoke in that manner to her. Now, I'll give you a real life example. I had a friend and she went through a process of divorce, everything happened. After she got married in the year, not in the year, I can't say the year, it was in the class 8. She came back when we were in first year and she ran away from her house. And after the day, I remember after she ran away, it was after 10 days or 12 days, her father died. And I was literally very sad because her father used to call me her own daughter, sorry, his own daughter. So when she came back, it was the first year in the graduation of us, and she said that, do you know, just for me, my father died. I am literally feeling very guilty. I am literally sad. अरे तब तो होश में रहना चाहिए ना, because our father said her that come back, we are going to give you marry, like we are going to give you a ceremony with that particular boy. But that boy was not what of this girl, because that boy, honestly, I don't stigmatize any occupation or any profession, but the boy was a rickshawala. And she was studying in class 8. The boy was 10 or 10, 11 years younger, sorry, older than her. So mentality, nothing came up. But not after many years, but 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, first year. After 6 years, she came back. So she was giving a justification, but in a very emotional way. Not a justification, she was reasoning herself. That for me, my father died. I'm feeling very sad. I'm feeling very guilt. I am having a issue with my feelings. Now she knew that her father won't come. So this is a sort of emotional justification. And now the people who uses a sort of emotional justification, they are pretty much on the verge of suppressing all of their negative emotions. They don't tend to open up. It's not that I am talking about my own opinion or sorry, own emotion. It can be bad, it can be happy, it can be pissed off, it can be frustrated, anything. But I'm not talking about that. Okay. Next is fallacy of change. Now it's a very cute wala sort of defense mechanism. Rashi ma'am is a defense can be cute. Now this is a sort of defense mechanism which where people think that they should change just for me. For example, I feel I'm not going to sleep at 10 p.m. in the night because no one is sleeping. If the moment they are sleeping, I'm going to sleep. So what is happening? I want everyone to change their behavior just for the sake of me. This is a very cute version. Now I have seen mostly the not the adolescent, the child who's starting from 6 years, they tend to use this, and the more they are using this, they have issues with their own behavior because they are completely dependent on other. If she does this, then only I'll be happy. I had a friend in my graduation. She used to cut off her wrist. I said, "Are it's not hurting you?" And it's not only that she's cutting off the wrist. After she's cutting off the wrist, she used to apply salt. And I was like, "Are she's crazy or what?" And that was in the first year. And I remember it was only the schools of psychology which we were studying. It was only 1 or 2 classes. And she said me, if I'm not doing this, my boyfriend is not going to come back to me. And if my boyfriend is not coming back to me, I am going to do this. And in her whole hand, both the hands, starting from here, everything still now the like what is that? The nishans are there.
Marks.
Marks, yes, the marks are there. So this is was fancy of change. Now it's pretty immature again. But if you see babies are using, you feel very cutish. But if you see adolescents or teenagers, they are using, it's pretty harmful because they are quite dependent. And especially cluster C sort of people uses this. I remember our HOD said cluster C people uses this, and it's pretty true. Because in cluster C, OCPD, and not antisocial. I won't talk about antisocial because it's completely different. But OCPD and dependent personality disorders uses this fallacy of change because they are highly dependent on others itself. Next is always being right. That, as the name suggests, everyone is wrong. I am only right. Even if someone says me that the sun rises in north, I'm sorry, if I'm saying that sun rises in north, if someone is saying no, the sun don't rises in north, I'm saying no, that sun rises in north. And again, this is a sort of defense mechanism which majorly the clustered A sort of people uses, paranoid, schizoid people. But not in general. Definitely, it's not that for the last 1 year I am using and hence I am a paranoid or hence I am a schizoid or schizotypal. But it can lead to any sort of personality disorders again. Next is mind reading. Wow. Again, it's one of the cutest thing where I think I can read your mind. For example, I don't know who is Sriporna K, but I can read her mind or his mind, whoever it is, and I feel that he is not he or she might be any gender or any pronoun, that the person is not liking my class, and I am reading the mind. And I remember one of my friends said, during our PhD, like the day my interview was there, not my friend, it was only at 3 days I met with that guy. And he said me, I can read your mind, what is going on? I said, what? Today you are okay on a scale of 10. I said, what is that? He said me in this way. And his body gesture was highly cute. He said me, you are too tensed up. I said, it's honest fact that I would be tensed up because the interview is supposed to happen. But in general, what is that I feel or that individual feel, I can read the mind of other people. Basically, they are the sort of fortune telling. I have seen people like the, what is that called, palmist or the horoscopic, the one who reads the horoscope, uses this power itself. Next is double standard. Now, double standard are the sort of people which tends to hold themselves in a upper, in a most highest form. Now, for example, in their original version, or today, if I am a very mediocre family, the moment I'm into a party where I see the Bollywood celebrity are coming up, I would be showing myself as if I belong from Bombay, not from Kolkata. as if I would belong. And there are, and this has been said by certain therapists or by certain educational psychologists, particularly, that double standards are only being done by the women who belong from a mediocre family or belong from a mediocre caste, and that tends to go to the elite caste, and they are pretending. It's just a form of pretending and nothing else. So now this type of people, they tend to belong from the personality disorder of narcissistic. Whatever I'll say, and as I'm a elite caste woman, whatever I'll say, you have to believe me. Now again, it's a sort of very mature type, because if I earn 50,000 in a month, and the moment I am going into a party and I'm saying I earn once a year in a month, it's pretty childish. So again, please be aware, and this can be addressed by CBT itself. Next is gratitude type. Now, this is a sort of defense mechanism which starts the moment you are not respecting or you are mistrusting or not even trusting the nature. For example, we all write gratitude journals, thanking anyone, right? But this can come up from a place that I wrote so many thank you to that individual did not respond me. Especially gratitude traps can be come up from, for example, today if I think I'm going to write a mail to Shahrukh Khan, I took the mail ID from his Instagram and I'm writing, I like you, thank you for being so wonderful, blah blah blah. I am writing for the last 6 months. I don't know, but if can be for 3 months or 6 months, and still if he's not reverting back to my mail, so I'll believe gratitude is having no place in the earth. And the practice of gratitude is zero. But if I'm writing again, but my thought would come, but if I'm writing it to someone of my teacher, it can be also the fact my teacher doesn't opens the mail for the last 6 months or for the last 6 years. Even my mother, she don't open. She have a Gmail, she have Yahoo, but she don't open. But if someone is thinking that, okay, chalo, Shraddhanjali ke maa ko thank you likh dete, and my mother is not reverting back. It can come up from celebrity terms, it can come up from many terms, but one who is not reverting back to your gratitude. It is gratitude trap. Next is discounting the positive, where it's pretty similar to mental filtering, where you are filtering only the negative things and you are only filtering the positive and coming up with the negative one. But over here, discounting the positive, you get something or you have certain valid proof for being certain types. For example, let's take this example which is given over here, the interview one. Right? It can be if I was on the part of mental filtering and if I applied for the job, I would have thought, I am not worth of. Whatever interview I'm giving, I'm not being able to crack. Even a single one, even the amount is 10K. But the similar can come up for discounting the positive. But I have certain valid proof. It can be, or I have discovered my own valid proof. It can be, I don't know how to communicate in certain religious like religion languages, or it can be I am not suitable for the post. The time is not suitable, the location is not suitable. But here I have certain evidence. But in mental filtering, no certain evidence. It's just that I am not fit for the post, or I am not of worth of doing anything good. So this is what discounting the positive means. Now, how you can manage or how you can tweak cognitive distortions or defense mechanism. All are the techniques of CBT. Either you have to restructure or you have to reframe the thoughts which the client is coming up. Basically, now number one is of the moment you are challenging, you are reframing or restructuring. Next is journaling. Journaling can be writing all your negative thoughts also. Whatever you ask the client, not your basically, but the clients. Tell the client to write down. And when the client is coming back for the next therapy session after a number of days, 14 days or 21 days, whatever, you are addressing again that. And looking for evidence, yes, what I said, you have to ask for evidence. If someone is telling me that I'm not suitable for a post, it can be I left a job and after 2 months, I think that I'm not suitable for the post. Did you feel that? Did anyone say, or it's so? No, someone said me. Tell me who said you. Show me what she did to you. So this is what looking for evidences. Next, what would, okay, countering. Now countering means the moment you are asking for any sort of like proof from the client is somewhat tries to manipulate the session, and you are somewhat very flexible, but you are again manipulating with the client. Now over here what happens, both the things happen in a most balanced way. I am not manipulating in a very negative way. You as a therapist is not manipulating me in a very negative way. It's a more balanced sort. Now all these techniques are of CBT. Just the fact why I wrote, because I'm doing exactly with the CBT classes how to do that and when to do that. Next is embracing yourself, because you have to embrace yourself no matter how fat you are, no matter how black you are, how tall you are, how short you are, no matter. The moment you are embracing yourself, the moment you are accepting yourself, that's the moment when you start up with so-called mature, all sort of mature defense mechanism. And yes, again, you have to ask the client to write up with the journals to follow art therapy, which you are doing. Mindfulness, definitely mindfulness can come up over here. Okay. Where are everyone? I don't know. Okay. So this was what of part one of defense mechanism. That was in the dream classes. Now in the next class, I'm going to do the part two of defense mechanism, and I'm going to talk about theories. From day 8 and 9, there will be all sort of symbols which comes up. Yes, day 8 and 9, I'm going to do the symbols because symbols are huge in number. And then day 10, there would be color therapy and mindfulness. Basically, what are the mindfulness techniques you can use? And then assignments would be there, which you need to complete and which you all need to send. The timing, date, not the timing, the dates would be given in the group itself. So yes, this was it for today. I don't know who is this Sri Ponna K. I'm not being able to find out. So yes, if you all feel any, both the PPTs have been uploaded. So the next class is on Tuesday, right? Yes, the next class.
Tuesday.
Yes. So I would be giving the materials like for the defense mechanism part 2 and the symbols. Not symbols, because there are two more theories which are need to be covered. Not two, four. Yes, four more theories which are need to be covered along with defense mechanism. So yes, any doubt? Okay, any doubt? So no doubt. Okay. So yes, then I think it's good to end the class again. I'm not sure who is she or he. Yes. So I would be seeing you all on Tuesday, but meanwhile by Monday, definitely by Monday, I'm going to give you the assignments, which would be covered in all the within the what are the topics which I did would be there. But yes, there would be one case study which I would have given you all. And Naomi, did you all get the for the CBTD case record in the mail ID?
Yes.
Okay, so I would request everyone to send their mail IDs, because there are 4 or 5 which I have case record. How to you in the initial session, how to take the cases, anything, whether for dream, whether for any sort of counseling techniques. So if you all need the case records, because that are from my colleges, so you can write the mail ID. So I would be mailing. Meanwhile, I would be definitely giving the link, because I don't know how for the links all the case records would be working or not. If you feel that the links are not working, let me know or give me a mail ID. I would be forwarding by tomorrow, and by Monday, I'm going to give you the assignments, so that if you all are having any sort of
Then
doubts.
you are asking about the CRF one, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
CRF
I
and
received
MS.
it. Yes, yes.
Okay. For CBT class, I have given them, not an issue. If you all need, let me know. I would be sending in the group. And yes, so I think it's good to end. It's Friday, so wishing you all a yes.
Excuse me, ma'am.
Yes.
Yeah, the questions that you have already sent before, is
Hmm.
that not a part of the assignment?
Yes, it's a part of the assignment. There would be 4
Okay.
assignments.
Okay. So this is one part of it. And in
Yes,
addition, you're going to give others.
yes, 3 more are left. Either 3 more or 2
Okay.
more. I'm going to figure out what would be the best for you all.
Okay. Okay. Fine.
Ma'am,
Fine.
where to send the in the group?
No, no, the assignment has to be mailed. I
No,
would be giving the mail
our
ID.
emails. Where to send it?
I would be given. I would be giving by either by today or by tomorrow morning. Not morning, honestly, but by evening I would be giving.
There are a lot of things to learn and to read. I think
Yes.
there's too much of syllabus in this dream therapy sessions.
Yes, that's the reason. See, if I would have read the like what is it called PPT, you could have not understand. So what I'm doing is I'm exactly explaining the gist, like जो summary होता है ना, so that you all can understand. Because that's the way I like during our graduation also our teacher did it that way, so that you all don't forget. Because it can happen that we forget. Even I keep on forgetting, but it's just a matter I keep on like do the revision also. So, yes, so let me know. So, wishing you all a happy, great weekend ahead. So, I'll see you all on Tuesday, and by tomorrow, I would be giving you the mail ID. Okay, okay. Thank you so much. Good night. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, ma'am. Bye.
Thank you.
Hi, ma'am.
Bye.